Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I confess again, this is the second time when I do this regarding this issue, that I did not know anything about the Houthi insurgency or war that occurred between the Houthis in Yemen and Saudi Arabia and others in the area, more than I know it was a war over there. And I know it was the Saudis, it was some Yemenis, Houthis, and that was about it. I knew it was for years. I didn't know exactly how many years. Well, do you know how many years it lasted? 10 years. I have here 10 years, 2 months and 4 weeks and 1 day. 10 years. It was not reported here in the West, but just as a side article or piece of news. But you know who were the belligerents in that war? You know who was fighting against whom? As I said, I know it was Saudi Arabia, something Yemen, the Houthis from the Yemen. I didn't even bother. Straight with you. So before I get to the article that I'm going to discuss today, which is Yemen's hitting a British vessel with a missile, let me make a little bit of a summary. So Houthi insurgency, right? It says here it was from 2004 until 2014. 10 years, 2 months, blah, blah, blah. These are the belligerent countries or whatever parties. Belligerents. This is one side and this is the other one. Now, did you know the United States was involved? Right here. Belligerents. Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Morocco, Sudan, and United States. I didn't know that. Now on the other side, Houthi movement, Yemen pro-Saleh forces, Iran, North Korea, Libya. All right? And these guys right here. So just so you know who's who and what's what. Now, Yemen is not close to the United States of America. Yemen is very far from the United States of America. Let's put it like Kamala Harris. Yemen is a country and it's far away. It's by the Red Sea, by the Gulf of Aden. You know, over there it's by the Indian Ocean, by the Arabian Sea, far, far freaking away from North America. But somehow North America was involved fighting the Houthis in Yemen. So who started it? I don't remember the Houthis going and fighting the Americans, but from this I find out the Americans were fighting the Houthis. So who is the aggressor? The Houthis. Okay, now we established that one. So what happened today? Today, a British vessel, was hit by Yemen. The Houthis. The Houthis did not lose that war against those countries listed over there. Morocco, Jordan, I think it was, United States, Saudi Arabia. It did not lose against it. So they must be kind of tough. But we didn't know about it. So let me show you this article. Because it seems like the Houthis with no airplanes, I think they have one airplane, an F-14 or F something from, from the Middle Ages or something. They are still capable of inflicting damage. So here it is. The article comes from Sputnik. It is from 7 hours ago. Today on January 26, Friday. Houthi naval forces, what kind of naval forces they got? Strike British oil ship in Gulf of Aden. Military spokesman. How is it possible? How is this possible? I'm going to continue reading the article, but how is this possible? We got over there a coalition of prosperity, defending prosperity, and all kind of stupid code names, operation. Anyway, but nevertheless, they are over there British vessels, there are American vessels and other vessels, and they could not intercept the Houthi missile attack on a vessel. I mean, you know how narrow that part of the world is, and it's swarming with U.S. British vessels. Nevertheless, let's go to the article. It seems like this is the vessel right here. Otherwise, they would not put it here, I'm guessing. And if you look on behind it, it's a military vessel right there. I'm not saying this is It says here, a British, no, it's the same thing, but it doesn't say this is the exact one, but there's a warship right there, parallel with it. Right, so let's read the article. Naval forces of the Houthi movement in Yemen attacked a British oil ship in the Gulf of Aden on Friday, and the vessel caught fire after it was hit by a missile. Houthi military spokesman Yahya Sari said, and I'm quoting, Yemeni naval forces carried out a targeting operation on the British oil ship Marlin Luanda in the Gulf of Aden or Aden. Using a number of appropriate naval missiles, the strike was direct and resulted the burning of the vessel. The spokesman wrote on his Telegram channel. Bloomberg reported that a Transfigura fuel tanker is on fire in the Gulf of Aden after being struck by a Houthi missile as it transited the Red Sea. And I'm quoting, firefighting equipment on board is being deployed to suppress and control the fire caused in one cargo tank on the starboard side, the Transfigura transportation spokesperson said in a statement. If one cargo tank is in flames, there's going to be burning until it's going to be exploding the rest of it. On a vessel, if you have different oil tanks, cargo tank, if one is burning, what do you think will happen? I don't even know how it's just burning and didn't explode yet. Or it didn't, ooze to the other tanks. Nevertheless, military ships in the region are on the way to provide assistance, according to the report. Here it is, my friends. It seems like the Houthis, that I didn't know anything about them. Anything. I don't know if you know how many victims were, how many people died in that war. Do you know? They say here, strength, Houthis, they have about 100,000 in 2011. They started with 2,000 in 2000. So when the war started, as Ahmadinejad, president of Iran, said in an interview I covered yesterday, tell that Kathy Couric, that since the Americans intervened somewhere, a lot of people joined the terrorist side, the bad people. So it seems like he was right. So right here, the war started in 2004. Remember, it ended in 2014. So in 2004, there were 2,000 people. 2009, there were 10,000 people. And then in 2011, there were 100,000 people. So it caught traction against these guys. Now, casualties and losses. About between 3,700 and 5,500 rebels and civilians killed, 3,000 arrested. And in Yemen, the other side, there were 1,000 to 1,300. So there were some, obviously, casualties here. Total casualties, 2,000 killed, humanitarian organizations, 25,000 Houthi sources, 2,000 Sadah residents handicapped, 250,000 Yemenis displaced. And you can look for further down here. My point is, who is in whose neighborhood? Houthi in American neighborhood, or the Americans were in the Houthis' neighborhood? So that should, from the very beginning, raise a logical question: who might, provoke who? I mean, if I go to a bar, which is is legal, let's say with a good-looking woman, at about, let's say, midnight or 11 o'clock p.m., and that bar is in a very bad location in a neighborhood, shouldn't I be expecting to get in a fight, or even worse? I think the chances are pretty high. So what am I going to do? If I want to get over there and practice my martial arts and fight, I'm going to go over there. But if I don't want to get involved in anything like that, I will avoid that area, unless I want to go over there. So the Americans went in the Yemen. Not the Houthis came to California coast or the Miami area. Okay? Just as a beginning. I don't think I have to go lower than that with explaining who's who, what's what. Nevertheless, the Houthis seem to be good at hitting targets. And the Americans and the Brits, supposedly, they hit targets whenever they wanted, just before the guys launched. But this one just escaped, got out of their supervision. Until the Americans will not unleash a full-fledged attack on Yemen or on the Houthis, this is going to be back and forth like this. And the Americans will lose. Why? Because the Houthis will keep hitting and commercial vessels, and the commercial companies the transport companies will lose a lot of money going around Africa instead of going through the Suez Canal and so on. So they will do a little invasion, you'll see, with the commandos, will take over to some positions, and then probably going to institute some military bases in Yemen. I foresee that 99%. Unless they're going to just bombard the shit out of them, like, I don't know, maybe 2 atomic bombs. Who knows? These guys are capable of doing that. After all, they did it twice, so it's already they popped the cherry, right? The cherry is already bleeding, so might as well keep going, right? If you think these guys are not thinking that way and they're not discussing this, I live in a cuckoo land, but I'm pretty sure you got their number as well. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. I was about to say, and for whom? In behalf of whom we got involved. See you next time.